Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Sima Gold. If this is your first time, please kindly subscribe. So this today we're making this dress. If this is what you really want to learn how to make, then sit back and enjoy. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. This dress is still in the process of beading, but I have to show you how it was made. So stay tuned and enjoy. Today we are going to be making a beautiful gown, and the first thing I'll be doing is to measure the length of the gown. Please kindly subscribe to my channel if this is your first time. Thank you. So now the length of the skirt for this gown is starting with the lower part, which is the skirt part. If the skirt length is 45, so I'll be marking the 45 inches straight down. So first thing first, the waist measurement I'm working with is 35 divided by um 4 would give me 8.75. So I would mark my 8.75 here. Then I would add my 2.5 inches for sewing allowance. Then I would go from my waist to hip measurement, which is 9. I'm working with a 44.5. That gives me 11.25. So I'll mark 11.25 plus 2.5 inches sewing allowance. Then I'll connect. Then I would mark my waist to knee, which is 18 inches. I'll be offing 4 inches or 4.5 from the 4.5 inches of my hip measurement. That will make me be left. That will make me have 40 inches left. Now that 40 inches divided by 4 will give me 10 inches. So I'll mark 10 inches here and then add my 2.5 inches sewing allowance. Then I'll come to the hemming part of this. My hip measurement divided by 4 gives me 11.75. I'll be adding extra 5 inches there. Then from the knee measurement, I'll connect. After connecting, I would now cut. So after cutting, this is what we have. But I want the lower parts to still have a bit of fullness. So from this my knee line, I'm going to get the middle part of this. So this is the middle part. What I'll be doing is to cut from this middle part. Then I'll cut from this point. Then I'll cut from this point. So this is what I have. So I'll get my paper that I'll be placing on dies. To mask. Then after doing that, I would mark here. after getting that, all I'll need to do is to come, if I have any excess under here, I'll just trim them off. Then I'll come to this hemming part and I'll blend. So that way we've added fullness to the lower part of this skirt, and the fullness we have here that we added to the lower part is about 9 inches. So your sweep is going to be much at the lower part, and so this is how my skirt is going to be. So I'll just proceed to cutting it. So I'll proceed to cutting. I won't be adding sewing allowances again because I did while drafting the pattern for this skirt, so I don't have a need for seam allowance again. If we look at this part, you will see that the fabric came out more than the pattern paper, and that's due to the adjustment we made. It's not really a bad thing. If I needed this train to be more wider, I could have just slashed through here, make sure that this upper part comes directly to the center front and keep opening, but I don't want that. So all I need to do is to mark out, this is the hip line, I have extra 1 inch here, and this is the knee line, I have 1.5. I'll go to this side of the fabric, I'll mark the knee line and I'll mark the hip line. All I need to do is to mark the extra 1.5 inch here and mark the 1 inch here, blend it in, connect from the waist, and then I'll trim off because that would add extra or excess to what I'm making. So after doing this, I'll lay my pattern aside and I'll proceed to cut the back parts of this skirt. For the back, I have my fabric folded and I've cut this side just the same way the side front was. So for this part, I'll be coming down at the knee part. This is the zipper, please serve at the zipper part. I'll be coming down to 18 inches. Then I will be marking 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance, sorry. So after marking that, I have about say 8 inches. I want the back to have a train, so all I need to do is just to blend it. After blending it, I'll cut. So this is what we have. I'll cut the lining for this exactly the way it is. That's how the lining is going to be. So what I'll do next is to bring my pattern paper, my pattern for the skirts. When we look at the picture, we're going to notice that there is a lace line coming like this, and I intend to do that. So I will from the waist come down by say 8 inches. 8 inches. After that 8 inches, I would come down by say 3.5 inches. Then after getting that, I would curve out the shape I want the lace to have. I'll cut it out the way I want it to appear on the dress. And after getting the first line, I'll start marking. The difference is 3.5 inches. I'll start marking 3.5 inches. So after doing that, I will now blend it. So this lace will be my lace. So I'll cut it out now. For safety's sake, so that you don't make mistake, you can just write your side. The side is here, and this is the hemming part. This place is going towards the center front. This place is coming towards the side front. You can use arrows to indicate things like that. So I want to cut. So this is what I have. I have my black lace that I would love to use for that. I'll place it. Then I will add about half of an inch on both sides because I'm going to be hemming it inward. If you want, you can add up this half of an inch while drafting it, so you don't have to go through this process I'm doing right now. Instead of having a width of 3.5, you could have a width of 4.5. That way, after cutting, you don't have a reason to go back to marking half of an inch. So I'll proceed to cut. So after doing this is what I have. At the lower part, I will just add extra 1.5 inch. It's better to have excess that you will cut out than have shortage. While at this upper part, I will cut exactly. So I'll bring out the front fabric. I would come down from the waist by 7 inches because that was where I started that marking. So this is 7 inches. I'll place my lace downward like this. I'll come to this side. I'll repeat the same thing. So this is what we have. So like we said, it's better to have excess than to have shortage. So all I'll need to do is to tuck it in. I'll pin and sew. Tuck this other part in. I'll pin and then sew. After doing that, I'll turn the lower part of the skirt and with the linings, and then we'll proceed to the upper part of the gown. So we are done with the lower part, and now I want to draft the upper part of the gown. So the shoulder I'm working with is a shoulder of 8 inches. 8 inches for the front. And then I have my shoulder slope. The armhole depth I'm working with is 8.5. And the same thing here, 8.5. I will insert my shoulder measurement there. Then I'll insert my shoulder measurement here. And then I'll connect and connect. Then length. After doing that, I would come to my neck. I would make the neck about 4 inches by 4, and I'll connect it. I'll go to the back. I'll still make it 4 inches by, let's say 4 inches by 4, or let me do 4 inches by 1.5. So this really doesn't count. So this really doesn't count. So this is my neck for the back. Then I'll connect to my shoulder slope. Then connect to my shoulder slope. I'll get the mid shoulder, which is 4.25 for the front. I'll go in by half. I'll get 4.25 mid shoulder for the back. I'll go in by 0.25, and then I'll connect and connect. Having done this, I'll insert my bust measurement. Bust 42 divided by 4 gives me 10.5. I'll insert 10.5 and I'll insert 10.5. Then I'll connect it and connect. Now my shoulder to waist for front is 18. My shoulder to waist for back is 16.5. So I'll be marking 16.5 now. And then I'll be marking. So this doesn't count anymore. After that, this doesn't count anymore. After that, the next thing I'll do is to get my dart. To get my waist measurement, sorry, the waist I'm working with is 35 divided by 4 give me 8.75. I'm going to do 1 inch back tightening, so that will make it 9.75. Then I'm going to take a dart of 1 inch, that will make it 10.75. So I'll mark 10.75 here and I'll connect. I'll come to the back. I will mark my dart intake as 4.5. Then I will mark my back tightening as 1 and connect it from the neck downward. After doing that, on both sides, I'll be marking half of an inch. Then I'll come to the front. I'll mark my dart intake of 4.5. Then my shoulder to bust point is 11. I'll mark 11. My shoulder to under bust is 15. I'll mark 15. Then I'll take half of an inch on both sides and connect. Then my waist measurement is 8.75 plus 1 inch for that intake, that's 9.75, which is here, and then I'll connect. The next thing I'll do is to do my bust dart. My bust dart is my shoulder to waist front minus my shoulder to waist back. My shoulder to waist front is 18. Shoulder to waist back is 16.5. 18 minus 16.5 gives me 1.5. So I'll come to this side. I'll mark 1.5. Then I'll come to the under bust. By this side, I'll mark 1.5. And by this side, I'll mark 0.5. Then I'll connect this side to this one. Connect this to this. So this extra 1.5 and 0.5 makes a total of 2 inches. So I'll come to this side and I'll mark my 2 inches and connect. Having connected it, I'll just blend in my dots. Then I'll come to this side. I'll mark this. Then I'll come down by 1.5 and I'll mark again. Then I'll come upward on this second line by 1.5 and connect it back. Having done this, the next thing I'll do is to take my yoke. I'll be coming down from the upper part, from the starting line, by say 8.5 and connecting it from this line downward. This is how I want the yoke to be for this dress. And then I'll come to the back. I would measure out about 1 inch down, then measure out about, then start come here and mark this depending on how I want the shape of the back to be. So after doing that, I would come to this side, come in by like say 2.5 and blend. This is how I want the back to look like. So the back is going to be like this. Let me take it up a little bit so it doesn't go down too much. And then we'll cut. Now in trying to cut, I don't want to give here a princess armhole. All I will just do is to get a straight line here that my dart is going to be linking to, and then I'll show us what to do. Now in cutting this back, I'll first of all take out my back tightening, take out my back difference, then I'll cut out the neck, I'll cut out the shoulder slope. Then this part, I'll come down, so I'll now cut off the yoke. Then this part, all I'll do is to just split it to take it in like this. So that way I've eliminated the darts. Even while cutting the fabric, I will not be having need for that at this point. Then I'll take my fabric, making sure to mark the back to avoid mistake. I'll fold it into two to cut this part. So for this part, I'll be inserting my zipper allowance, while for this side, I'll be inserting my sewing allowance. So I'll be needing a sewing allowance of about say 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. And then I'll cut. Then my zipper allowance 1.5 inches. Then I'll come to the upper part. This is my yoke. all I need to do is to cut. I want the lace mount to show as a design when I am so I don't want to use bias to turn here, so that's why you see me trying to make sure that this curve, I'm trying to make it fall around this lace mount, and then I'll cut. So this is what I have. This is what I have. So for the front, I will just cut. Then I'll close the bust dart. Okay, so I'm done coupling this gown. I will show us when I fix it on the mannequin. So we're talking about the design in front now. I have my pattern paper. I have my crinoline. I joined pieces of crinolines together to give me this big one. You could also use your bobbin net, and you could use collar stay depending, but you know that collar stay will definitely fall over time, unlike crinoline that will stand the test of time. So the measurement I use for this, at this end I have 3.5. At this end I have 8 inches. So you first of all cut 8 inches wide first. After cutting 8 inches wide, you now mark 3 inches at this end and now slant it this way upward. I already cut it down, so I'll just explain. I have a height of 8 inches as a rectangle first. Then from one side I measure 3 inches, 3.5 depending on you, and then I slant it straight. Now the length of this is about 28 inches. Now this is for one part. Then I cut it exactly the same shape with the crinoline. I cut my fabric in two places. One is going to serve as the lining, one is going to serve as the fabric. Then for the other end of the design, I have 8 inches still, but this time around this side is about 4 inches and the length is 16.5. So what I will do now is to go to my sewing machine, or to my to my ironing table. First of all, I'm going to laminate this crinoline using my hemming gum so that it will stay very well. First, I'll use my hemming gum to laminate it on this Ankara. After doing that, I will put my boning to give it structure at the end, and then iron it flat. Then use this other one to turn it inside out. I'll repeat the same process for this, and then I'll take it down to the mannequin and we'll tack together. Okay, so I've done one. This is what I have. I have my crinoline laminated on the Ankara fabric. So all I need to do is to find a way to turn this inside out. So when I turn it inside out, I'll tell us the next thing to do. So I've turned it and I've ironed it flat. I have the non-sewable boning. All I would just do is at this upper part that has a pointy edge, I would insert it there and sew immediately after there. I will just run a stitch there, or you can make your casing first before you insert it. You can make your casing of 1/2 inch first and then insert it. This way your stand remains there. It will not fall. First of all, you have your crinoline, you laminated your fabric, and now you have a boning to assist the structure. So the same method I applied there is what I'm going to be doing on the second one, and then we'll go to the mannequin and tack it together. So I have the two of them now readily available. I've inserted my bonings at the end. You see that it's well structured. So I'm trying to lay it now. To lay it, so the first thing I'll do, if you look at the picture, the first one came this way towards the up. So I'll pin it down. I'll pin it there. Then after pinning it there, I'll take it down to the back. I'll take it down to the back, and then I'll pin. So after doing this, I'll just tighten the back so that I would have the fitting on the person's body. This is the person's side. So here I will just try to pin here too. Mind you that every part that we pinned, we are going to be tacking on those parts. So we'll just start tacking now. So you just keep tacking round. So I've done this one now. We can see that it's ready. This is the back, well placed. So remaining to fix this other one, I would come this way and then place it like this. So this way, this is how here it's going to be. So after from here now, we'll start tacking. After tacking, I'm going to show us the final look of the gown. Okay, so this is the final look of the gown. Then we'll proceed to beading and adding of stones. You can see the details of the down. Don't mind the background. So this is how it looks, and I hope you're able to learn how to go about this. Please leave a comment at the comment section. You can just encourage me by subscribing, liking my videos, and sharing my videos. Thank you and bye.